At the end of a long day, my goal is to go home and rest. Sometimes I had to press my way to the end of the day. Hello, if we've never met, my name is Gladys Bell, and I'm a volunteer with the Motherless Daughters Ministry. Thank you for allowing me into your day. Every week, we have a standing invitation to you to join us for a few minutes of conversation to support motherless daughters everywhere by sharing information, our stories, and encouragement. If this message is helpful to you, we'd like to ask you to share it with another motherless daughter, give us a thumbs up, a review, and subscribe to our channel. First of all, I need to let you know that the content of this video is purely my opinions and thoughts based on my personal experiences and do not necessarily express the views of the ministry. The grief journey is uncharted territory. There's no standard map to lead all who are put at the beginning of this journey, at the starting point, by no choice of their own. After a forced entry into this journey, I was swept away by what I call the grief current, a current of a vast number of emotions connected to loss. Because loss is a change of a vast, great magnitude, it requires massive adjustments. Adjustments I was not prepared and maybe not even equipped to make. My mother, her transition was life-changing for me, even at the age of 54. I just never thought of living my life without her being part of it. That was almost 20 years ago. I still miss her, and I'm still adjusting. Um, with every life-changing event, I still long for her presence, her conversation, and the comfort of her support. The passing of my daughter almost 4 years ago was what people would call the straw that broke the camel's back, unquote. If ever I was going to break, backslide, or give up, that was the threshold. But God had brought me too far to turn back at that point. There's a song with lyrics that say, quote, "We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy word. He's never failed me yet," unquote. When my daughter took her final breath in what had been her first and now her last bedroom in our home, it was only because God had never failed me that I was able to hang on to my sanity and my faith, even if it was by my fingernails. At that point, it became a press to make every step forward. Sometimes there were backward steps in between. Re-engaging in my life became a slow, gradual effort. The terms that came to my mind as I contemplated describing this period to you were seeking, pushing, being intentional, leaning, and standing. Most of those thoughts were connected to Bible verses or hymns which served to sustain and encourage me in difficult times. In facing the questions, what do I do now? And how do I live my life with this change? I had to refocus on my purpose, which has to be fulfilled before reaching the goal of going to my ultimate home with God. In order to, quote, get home, I have to live the dash in between the birth and death dates. The Bible speaks of pressing toward the mark of the high calling. Pressing implies putting pressure on something to flatten, shape, or smooth it. In order to push through putting on the pressure, I have to seek God's face. Standing on the solid rock, which is a hymn, and that solid rock is Christ Jesus. Also, leaning on the everlasting arms, the title of another hymn. It requires me to be intentional about finding joyous memories among the pain and the tears. There are times I'm chuckling about happy memories through a flood of tears. Joy and pain do coexist. All of this pressing effort may only yield a crumb. But as I heard an evangelist explain, a crumb of bread holds in a small amount all of the same ingredients of the whole loaf. In the Bible story found in Matthew chapter 15, a woman begging for bread acknowledged that she may not be worthy to sit at the table and eat of the loaf, but, quote, yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table, unquote. They survive on the little they get from the crumbs. Several Bible stories testify that little becomes much when God is in it. The story about Moses and the rod, Samson and the jawbone of a donkey, David and his sling, and even the little boy's lunch and the feeding of the 5,000. So I'm pressing on this permanent journey that ebbs and tides by a vast number of diverse triggers. To the observer, I have re engaged in all of my life involvements, good things, good works that I pray will glorify my Father, which is in heaven. Because at the end of the day, what I want to do is go home and rest. When I step back and look at the world and all who have gone on before me, I press to find the silver lining in the cloud of grief. After his son died, King David said, quote, I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. That's in 2 Samuel, the 12th chapter. I look forward to when we all get to heaven, which is another title of a hymn. And it says, what a day that will be, where we will sing and shout the victory. Hebrews 12, verses 1 and 2 speak of a great cloud of witnesses which can inspire us. Therefore, I resolve to relentlessly, quote, run with patience the race that is set before us in order to reach home and rest. As another song states, home free at the ultimate healing, unquote. May God bless you.